Welcome to Inspiration Nation with Mandy Monahan, where you'll discover incredible business and youth leaders living inspired lives of purpose, passion, abundance, and contribution. Get ready to be inspired to dream bigger, love deeper, live generously, and take compassionate action that makes a difference for others every day. Well, welcome. I'm really excited to connect with you today, Aidan, and just want to welcome everybody to Inspiration Nation. Today we're here with Aidan of Aidan Cares, and man, I'll tell you what, when I first met you, it was at a Keller Williams event. What year was that, Aidan? 2015?
I think it was 2016, maybe?
2016? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I have like 10 pages of notes, and I remember being in tears as you were sharing your story, and I'm so incredibly excited to connect with you today and just get this out there at even a bigger level of all the amazing things that you're doing. So
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It will be great. It will be great. So your story started when you were like 4 years old. I remember you had this dream and shared with your mom about making a difference and knowing that you would do something to change the world one day, right?
Right. I just remember my brother saying, when I turn 18, I'm going to do this and that. And I remember being 4 and like, wait, what's the rule that you have to wait to do cool stuff? Like, it didn't really make sense. So I remember being 4 and saying, all right, I'm gonna be a part of changing the world because I want to, and I don't want to believe the lie that you have to wait. And so it just kind of like sparked something.
What do you think was in you at 4 years old that you had that to just know, hey, I'm going to do something with my life. I'm 4 and I'm not going to wait. I'm going to start now.
I've thought about it. I don't think it was like divine intervention. I have no idea what happened, but I guess my upbringing, my mom, she's like always modeled giving to me, and I'm really grateful for that. She's just always taught me that, there's a need outside of myself, and, it's my job to find that need and be a part of meeting it head on if I can. And so I just think growing up and witnessing that just kind of flickered something in me to want to do more and kind of take it and run with it.
Cool. So you have this at 4 years old, and like, just like every other 4-year-old, just like every other kid out there likely has this spark inside of them, right? And you decide, I'm going to do something with it. So can you share that story? And I know you've shared it everywhere. You now travel the globe. You've been to over 30 countries, or are we more than that now?
Yeah, well, actually, I've been to 3, but I've worked with like children through like systems like this in 30 different countries, but I've only actually been to 3. But it's been great. Hopefully 30 though, from your mouth to God's ears. Like that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess from 4 to 7, I took a 3-year break. I don't know, got kind of lazy. But yeah, so when I was 7, I got bored at this restaurant. And honestly, I still get bored at restaurants. Like not a whole lot has changed. And I got bored, and I told my mom I'm going to go play harmonica in this hallway to go kill some time. And so I started playing, and I was wearing a hat, and it got warm, so I took it off, and people thought that I was trying to get money. And so by the end of the night, I had $80 in my hat. And thought, well, this is cool because now I'm going to buy a car, a house, retire. Like, I guess I want a smart 7-year-old. But I just had this pile of ones, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna make this work. And so I donated that money to African orphans. My mom had read me a newsletter, and that one choice to give, it really did change my life, and it just put me on my path. And I remember that car ride home thinking, you know what, I'm blessed because I can claim that I have what I need, and I know that there's so many people who can't, and so it's my job to help them if I can. And so I donated it, and and that one choice just put me on my path, and it's just been home free ever since. Like, it's just been great.
Yeah, it's been building and building. So your path is really giving and out there to share this kindness and inspire other kids to find their calling on their path and use their gifts and talents to give. So what about that ignited that spark in you, Aidan?
Just something about realizing that I could make a difference even with a small amount. And then when I say amount, I don't even mean like financial. It can be just of who you are. And I just think that being at that age and realizing that I can make a difference and that I don't have to wait. Like, it is, living to give is not hard. Like, we don't have to start these massive foundations. I mean, that's great, but we can just live it each day. And so I remember just being 7 and donating that and seeing how, people reacted to that and wanting to give. And I realized if it's an inspiring thing, then it should be something that's done more often, like it shouldn't be rare. And so my mom, she had a friend who was launching this like corporate event. And he said, we need like a feel good story. Do you want to come share that? Like play some harmonica. And bear in mind, like I was terrible at harmonica. Like I was not good at that age. Like when I picked it up, it wasn't like I was magically amazing. Like I was terrible for a really long time. And so I go up on the stage, there's a couple of thousand people in the audience, and I start playing badly and telling my story, and people donated to Africa. And so I realized that I could use my passion to serve. And that's how, Aidan Cares came about, is it's just helping people, equip their passions to bless other people. So
cool. So
yep.
where'd it go? So you realize that no matter what, you're using your skills, your talents, your gifts, even if they're, whatever level, and people are giving back. People are doing some great things.
Yes, ma'am.
Where does that take you? Like that's got to just pour it into your heart at even a bigger level.
It does.
Where do you go from there with that?
It's so cool because you can kind of like giving gives you a whole lot, and it really is like fuel to the next place. Like when I'll speak at a school and there'll be like one kid in the audience, kind of like Hayden, like there'll be that one kid in the audience where it's like they just connect with it and get it on a deeper level. And so you realize that it's immediately so much more than you. And like you get to, it's amazing though. Cause it really is like giving is a one size fits all message. Like it's really rare because it fits in every scenario. Like you can teach it anywhere, and I don't know, there's just something about that. And it's just left me kind of full. Like I have like well-being at the end of each day, knowing that, I'm doing something that's bigger than me, and it's just awesome.
Cool. So you did some work with, and I love that you bring up the schools, and where I met you and was introduced to you was actually at our corporate function. So you've spoken everywhere from like on the streets to big corporate gigs and businesses to, to schools and to different groups and stuff. And Tony Robbins, you did some work with their foundation, the Anthony Robbins Foundation.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share a little bit about that? Because what I love is Tony always talks about contribution and giving as being one of the biggest needs of the spirit. And you did some work with them.
Yes, ma'am.
Contribution. So when you're saying like you're always fulfilled, it's really cool to hear that show up in your, in your
absolutely. Because, giving, if it's not done right, it can really drain you at the end of each day. And that's why I always try to like teach people, you want to give out of your passion. So meeting Tony was like a perfect fit. I think I was like 11 or 12, and he was in Savannah, Georgia, which isn't too far from me. So I figure, and Tony Robbins is like 4 hours from your house. You kind of have to show up. So it's like we went there, and I don't know, he kind of pulled me out of the crowd after I spoke with him a bit and said, you know what, I want my shoulders to be what you stand on, because I know that I need a legacy, and I want to see youth doing things that I'm doing, and also on a greater level. And so he made a huge contribution to my organization and allowed me to be able to speak at a bunch of different youth summits that he has across the globe. And that's actually how I went to 3 other countries. But it's amazing because, like I said, it really does fit everywhere, but also there's just something about making it clear to people that you can give out of who you are and out of what you love. And so, working with him was really great because he just taught me so much. So, yeah.
Cool. What's the biggest thing you say, in doing the work that you've done with Tony Robbins, you've done some stuff with John Maxwell, and some of the leadership side of it? What are the biggest lessons, Aidan, that you would want to share with other people? The lessons in leadership around giving?
Leadership around giving. I mean, I guess the one thing is you really have to be your true authentic self. Like a lot of people, and everyone's guilty of this. Like I'm not saying like I'm completely free of this, but it's like we kind of build up a facade of what we think we need to be. But if we're not really being authentic to ourselves, then the deeper we get into what we're doing, we kind of fall apart at certain points. So I would really encourage people, if you're going to lead, you have to lead from actually where you are and not where you want to be. And so that way it's transparent leadership. And I think people connect to that more. Like when I get up on stage, I'll tell people, I've really thought about what I wanted to say, but I'm also a little ADD, so it could go either way. Like I don't want to come across as anything that I'm not, because I just want to be my true self. So I always try to teach people, make sure that you're leading authentic. Number 2, I think that there's something to be learned from every situation. Like a lot of people want to pick their favorite parts, but there's something to be learned from like a little bit of everything. Like I remember I got like a life lesson from a 4-year-old the other day. It just like stopped me in my track. And he was like talking about, what was it? He was basically saying that he likes speeches where it's fun because he listens better when it's fun. And I was just like, that actually makes a lot of sense. And this was a 4-year-old. So it's like sometimes you just have to stop and like analyze things so that you can appreciate everything and lead better. But there is a million things to be said about this, but it really is important. I think the number one thing is to just be authentic though, and actually be what you appear to be. Cause you don't want to be disappointing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that level of authenticity, I remember when you were in Phoenix and you gave out a worksheet and Hayden was there and you
Right.
went around, and no matter what age, if there are 4-year-olds that are there or if there was 40-year-olds that were there, you were going around to everybody and getting them to be congruent with, what's inside so that they're giving from that space of authenticity and their passions.
Right.
So you really encourage people to take a look at what's inside of them, their passions and, uniqueness, and apply that in a way of contribution. That's what I
Right.
thought was so cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something about being able to interact, and it's kind of like vision boarding a little bit, but
Yeah.
with like giving, like you lay out because you want to serve what you love. Like if you love animals, then you should go help animals like that if that's your passion, and then you got to use what you love. And so that's why, and it's so cool when people like get to just stop and actually do it, and the room stops spinning because it's during a seminar or whatever, and so they're forced to do it, and then they just realize who they really are. Like I get to watch that from the mic, and it's really awesome.
Cool. So if you had some tips for people, say that there's people that want to get involved in contribution or giving at a bigger level and don't know where to start, what's the advice that you always give to them?
Yeah, like I said, be your true self, but also just you start small because there really is no small act in giving. Like every give really does matter. Like all gives matter. And so just the main thing is you want to discover who you really are. So for me, it's music. Like I love music so much. And I know if I didn't make that a part of my walk, then I would be so burnt out. And so just, really just follow where your heart is because it really does say a lot of things. And, you just really got to listen to that. And not believe that a lot of people think that what they have and who they are isn't enough because a lot of people compare nowadays, and I totally get that. But we really can't compare because we are the way that we are and we're made a certain way. And so just trust that, your heart is enough. And even if it's a small thing, quote unquote, small, it does matter. It really does. And so I guess that would be the main thing.
Cool. So Aidan, you're so clear on your path and you're clear on like your why. You bring your music into it. You bring your
Yeah.
passions into it. There's a lot of people that go through their whole entire life and don't yet have that. Where did you say you developed it? Like, where did it come from in you?
Yeah, I actually like I said, my mom, when I was little, she would take like casseroles to people in a nursing home or like, we would always feed like the homeless and stuff like that. And so I would just see like the level of love that she walked in. And I just remember thinking, well, I really want to take this to an even deeper level. Like, I don't want to live vicariously through someone. Like I want my walk to be my walk kind of thing. And so I don't know. It's just knowing that I'm fortunate each day to know what I want to be doing. And so the fact that I get to be doing that is just exciting. And so it just makes me want to give even more and more and more. So it's been a lot of fun.
Cool. So you learned it through example, and it's really about spreading that love and contribution and making a difference.
Absolutely. And that's why too, I teach a lot, about to parents directly. And it's weird, like coming from a kid, and I get that. But if you think about it, kids have like the best perspective because we can see how things make certain parenting feel. But I think we do have to lead by example. And like, I know for a fact that had my mom just, carried on as normal, then I wouldn't be doing what I love. And so it almost seems like as a parent and as a person, we need to lead in a way that it helps people discover who they are. It's almost like a Manning brother not getting a football. They would never like be living out what they love.
Right.
And so it's like, we really have to be a part of, helping people kind of nudge them in the direction. And so my mom, she's always been good about when I said, this is what I love. And she's supported me. And it was cool if that changed at any moment, but she's always like giving me that extra push. And I think that's really special. And it doesn't even have to be like a close relation, just people in general. I think if we can be a part of that, it's awesome.
I noticed that about you, that you kind of go around wherever you're at, you look for ways to get out and connect with people no matter where you are. Like even when you were in Phoenix, you're out, you're connecting with people, you're playing music out and drawing people into that. And that is so cool. It's a way of living, not
really
necessarily something that you do.
Right. Absolutely. Because I mean, what I do on stage is like my everyday life. Like I was at the gym the other day and I just come back from a friend's house and we were practicing music and I had my guitar on my back. Like the person was like, hey, you want to play us a song? And the next thing I know, there's like 20 people gathered around and I'm like, so it's just cool because it's like I get to live like what I do. And I don't think there's anything better than that. It's just a lot of fun.
Yep. Being on your authentic path. That's cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. All right, cool. So what's inspiring you now? What are you passionate about now?
Yeah, so every
You got a lot going
Saturday,
on.
a
Yeah.
lot going on. So doing a lot of schools. I love schools so much because it's just the kids, they're just ready for it. Like they hear it and immediately like resonate with it, and it's just so much fun. And then every Saturday I go up to the projects here in Atlanta, and it's like one of the roughest communities, in my city, and it's just really intense. And I get to go up there. I do it through a local church, and we like deliver brand new furniture to people, groceries. We pay like utility bills, and I teach music to the children up there. And I
Mm.
don't know, just to be able to provide hope in communities that are without hope or just lacking in hope is really amazing. So I love like taking my message to areas that don't normally get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's really been on my heart, and that's been great.
That's awesome, Aidan. When you go in, when you're working, if it's in a community or you're in a hospital and you're giving people hope and inspiration,
Right.
how do you leave at the end of the day? Like, what happens in your life as a result of that?
Yeah, just the level of just understanding. I find that at the end of each day is just kind of awesome, and you get to learn from different people. And honestly, I love like seeing how different people live because I just get so much out of it. But I think at the end of the day, when you know that you're providing a service and you don't feel empty, then there's just something so fulfilling about that. It's like that feeling in, the center of your chest where it's like you take a deep breath and it feels good. Like it's like that well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I remember this past Saturday going up there and I was playing music in the homes, and there's like 300 people in this neighborhood that I go to. And like most of them know me, and it's like I just felt like a part of it, and it's kind of amazing how we can just adapt to different places and just, I don't know, just having that community. And all it took was just getting outside of my comfort zone. And there's just something amazing about that.
Cool. Is there like one story or one thing that you've done that, you shared the story of in the hospital, or there's some particular ones calling out to you that that just ring true to your heart?
Yeah, absolutely. So, actually, so in the projects, this was like maybe in December, I was going out and, delivering groceries to this one house that really needed it. And this dude starts walking towards me and kind of fast. And I look and there's like a gun in the elastic of his pants. And so I'm thinking, well, it's been fun, God. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Like I was just scared. And then he got closer and like, I think I peed a little. Like I was just really scared. And
Okay.
he gets like up to my face and he's got tattoos on his face. And I was raised like, if you got tats on your face, you're pretty tough. So like I was a little scared. And he looks at me and he's like, yo, are you the dude that prays for people and that's nice to people?
Nice.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm the dude. He goes, no, but you're the little white dude. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely me. And we start talking and he's like, well, you're supposed to pray for me. I want you to, yeah. And so start praying and, just doing that. He goes, we need some groceries. So we gave him groceries. And he's like, if you knew me, like if you really, and this is what he said, if you knew me, I knew what I've done with my life, then you wouldn't be near me and you wouldn't be blessing me like you are. And I remember thinking, I think as people, we get it wrong when we try to classify who to love. And I don't think that's okay. I think that we just got to offer it freely to anyone, whenever, however, because it's what we're supposed to be doing at the end of the day. Like that's what matters most. Like that's really what defines us. I remember thinking like, I mean, hindsight, like if someone has a gun, you shouldn't like hang around to see what happens. But like we really should walk in love to where if it's a big thing or a little thing, and even if it's uncomfortable, we should always be free to give. And, another story, I was in the dollar store, which is like a really legit place. I love the dollar store. And I was in there. I was on my phone the whole time. Didn't look up, like doing this and like the entire time. And get to the checkout counter. My mom's like, "You've been on your phone the whole time. I want you to put your phone up for a minute. Give your eyes a breather." So I'm like, "All right." So I put my phone away. And I read the clerk's name tag, which I wish everyone wore name tags. Honestly, it makes life so much easier. But I read her name tag and I said, "Hey, Miss Robin, how you doing? I hope you're having a blessed holiday season." And this lady started weeping. And she said, "Oh my God, not one person has taken the time to acknowledge me today." She said, I haven't
Mm.
even heard my name. And I just felt so guilty when I got in the car because I was thinking, how many opportunities like this am I missing? Because that's all it really takes to be a difference maker is like little things like that. But we miss it because we're not looking for them. And so I'm not saying like we should never look at our phones, but I'm saying we shouldn't get so caught up that we miss those dot to dot connections that we're missing. And so I don't know, just little things like that. There's just something about leading in love and just walking it out every day. And like it's not a false thing if you just truly believe in it. Like it is something that needs to be the new normal, I think, too.
You're definitely leading the way for that. So it's like the gifts is in the present. So
Right.
everything in the walk and, even having somebody say hello or smile or the basics. So it's like the basics of a lot of people think of contribution as giving all this money or volunteer hours and all of that. And what I'm hearing from you is this walk in faith and love and giving is all about presence.
Absolutely. 100%.
Presence and connecting and looking at what you can do to make a difference for somebody else.
Right. And then if people want to write a big check to donations and stuff like that, that's cool
That
too.
works
But
too.
yeah, absolutely. But it
That
is
works
the
too.
day-to-day stuff though.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So you go into big corporations. Speaking of that, you go into some big
Yeah.
corporations and you talk to like these business owners and corporations. And
Yeah.
what do you inspire them to do, Aidan? What do you
You
talk to
know,
them about?
and I show up and like most corporations are pretty great, but you'll have like that one really jaded person that like has seen a million speeches that are work related and they have to go and they're like in their suit and tie, generally have a BlackBerry, which I didn't know was still a thing. Like, but it is. BlackBerries are still a thing.
I didn't
And
know they were
so
out there still.
yeah, they're still out there, man. It's legit though. So they're sitting there, and I love like seeing them thinking, all right, this is gonna be a tough person to crack, and so like it's hard. But I go out there and just share the same message because, like I said, it's like the one size fits all. Of course, like I never give the same speech twice because for one thing, it's not fun if I do the same thing all the time. But also, it's like there's something cool about being creative for each place. But I try to teach them that it is an everyday thing and that we can make it a part of our lives. We can bring it to our workplace. You can bring it to wherever you go. But also the main thing is like, I find that like leadership's a key word nowadays. And a lot of people are talking about it more and more because people need leaders. And I don't know, just I try to lay it out, the fact that they have more of an influence than they actually know. And so it's so important that what you're putting out is the right message and is the right thing because you never know who you're influencing. And so like, but it's really great. And every corporation's a little different. So every speech is a little different, but the general thing is just try to help them at the end of the day to feel like they can and they want to make a difference.
Cool.
That's the goal. Yep.
Yep, you're definitely achieving that. So you
That's
go
right.
in, I'm hearing, so Gary Keller and Mo Anderson, who I know you know very well also,
I know
they
Miss
really
Mo really well. I hadn't had the
miss
privilege of meeting
Mo.
Mr. Gary yet. Yeah,
He's a great man as well. Great
I'm
leader.
sure.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And oh man, Miss Mo has a heart of gold, doesn't she?
She's like, I love her. I love her nickname too, the Velvet Hammer. Like, have you heard that?
Yep.
She is. I remember she like put the fear of God into me in the most loving way before when I spoke at a mega camp for Keller Williams. I'm about to get on stage and she looks over at me and she goes, Sugar, I really want you to do a good job. And her hand goes on my shoulder. She goes, I need you to do a good job. I'm like, yes, ma'am. And like, there's just something so like intense about it, but loving. It was awesome. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, she calls people to a great standard that brings out the best in them. And
She really
she
does.
just, man, she's got a heart for giving and making a difference for others. So
Right.
they have really been sharing a lot about, in leadership, you replace yourself. Like it's about one thing to write a check. It's another thing or to go volunteer or to go give or to whatever that is in whatever capacity. And then we look at giving at a whole new level of impacting lots of people that go out and give.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. So in sharing your messages in schools and corporations and,
Right.
wherever that is on TED Talk when you were 15. So wherever that is, you're sharing that to multiply at a really big level contribution and living from the space of love and walking in that love.
Right. And like the ripple effect is real.
Yeah.
Like it is so amazing because I'll see like one door open and I'll show up and then that will lead to another thing. But also you see like all the people in between that are hopefully impacted. And, that's why it's been great too, working with Keller Williams, because it's put me in more of a corporate setting and these people are so equipped to make a difference that it's kind of awesome. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a cool time to be alive to like see this like uprising of difference makers. So
Cool. Have you written a song about the ripple yet? The
I
ripple
have not.
effect?
I need to.
I can see that coming from you, like a ripple
Absolutely.
effect song.
Yeah, I watched an interview with Bruce Springsteen the other day, and he's talking about how he wants to write things that he can sing 40 years from now.
Yeah.
And that was his mindset when he was little. I was thinking, man, like I need to really like write deep stuff so I can always sing it. So that I feel like you're onto something. I think that's a good call.
That's kind of what you're doing out there is this huge ripple effect.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sweet. So, it's one thing to get up every day and go out there and live and be present and, live and connect and contribute when things are going great, Aidan. And what about the days when they're not? You and your mom have really shared about giving through, and that
Right.
sometimes in life, when pain comes up, when stuff is difficult, when there's challenges, that you give your way through it. Can you
Right.
talk more about that? Can you share about that?
Right, absolutely. And I hear this a lot, and I think everyone's got a testimony. I think just about everyone has a story and like rough patches in their life that are less than like glamorous. But I think there's something about just letting go of that, and it's okay to like validate that it hurts. Like if you gotta binge watch Netflix and eat like a whole bunch of Ben and Jerry's, that's cool, and I'm like all for that. But there's also something amazing about still living out what you love even through that. I remember my dad left when I was about 13. It was like a really rough living environment for a while. And at first, for like 9 months, I just kind of felt like spent. Like I was totally done with everything I was doing because, like my whole family had like fallen apart. And it was just intense. And I remember thinking that, but if I stop in my tracks, and then everything I've ever built, everything I've ever done just kind of falls apart with it. And I remember thinking that, I think it's so much more meaningful to actually just be able to give through, especially since it's what I love, because sometimes pushing through, even when it's hardest, is what gets us through to the other side. And then we like build this foundation for ourselves that's so much more sturdier than it's ever been. And it's important. And, I'll hear tons of different stories where it's like someone say I've been through X, Y, and Z, and it's delayed me this much, or it's just impacted my life this way. And I totally get it, understand it, been there, done that, have the t-shirt. But it's like there's something about giving through that's amazing, because it really does help you get to the other side.
That it does. That it does. I
Yeah.
had that experience, and one of my great mentors and friends, I was going through something, and she said, "Honey, you've got to give your way out of this.
Right.
So even though you feel like you can't get up, that's the way that's going to get you going. So get up, get out there, and find something that you can do, and you can always contribute and give a smile to somebody. There's something that you can do, and go give your way through it."
Always. Absolutely. And
So
even when it's hardest too. So no, that's really good.
yeah, that's a cool perspective to look at it, because that's what's going to shift for a lot of people.
Right.
So what do you have to inspire? Like, what do you think about the generation of youth right now? And I heard you at one point say like how cool they are, and just they're inspiring, and all of the gifts that they have to give. So what do you think about the
Yeah.
generation gap?
Absolutely. So I get this a lot from, older generations. They kind of look at my generation as like a bunch of mouth.
Aiden, are you calling me an older
No,
generation?
I'm not at all. I mean, maybe like a little bit before mine, but not too far off. You're so
I'm
young.
just joking with you.
I
All
got
right.
you. But I was talking to this lady, and she's talking about her grandchildren. She's like, my grandchildren, I love them all to pieces, but they're kind of mouth breathers. And I was like, ouch. But that is a little bit true. But I realized something amazing. I'm looking at like the way kids are nowadays and how they're capable of so much more
Yeah.
than ever before, because it's almost like a little bit more improved, and like they're getting deeper and things like that. And social media is really looked down upon, and I get that. Like it is taking a lot of time out of my youth's day. Like it's intense, but there's something that even like social media does. Like I know kids that have like an inspirational page where they like put stuff up and like things like that. So it's almost like every con in my generation can be a pro with the right like encouragement and the right influence. So it really is amazing. I'm meeting like these just amazing kids, peers. Like it's so cool to like meet people my age who are actually making a difference. And I come in contact with a lot through this walk, and it really is amazing. Yeah. And, that's why I love speaking at schools, because you can spark that. And like, I really want my shoulders, like Tony Robbins told me, I want my shoulders for be to others to stand on. Like I want my ceiling to be their floor. So it's just really cool though to see how kids want to hear it, and all we have to do is get that message out there. And they're so receptive and not jaded at all. Like I'm a pretty jaded person, so it like takes more to get through to me than normal people. But like to see like the youth like respond to certain ways is just really amazing. So it's a cool time. It's a cool thing to watch.
I'm noticing more and more too, getting involved in making a bigger difference and realizing their path at a younger age. Are you seeing that out there?
I am. And like, back to the school thing, you'll speak at a school and like it just hits so heavy. And then you'll hear a story like, oh, well, I'm already doing stuff like that. And it just blows my mind. Like it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Little kid, and like really young. Like I know a kid had a lemonade stand, he's like 6, and then the money went to a local animal pet hospital. That was like a nonprofit. And it's just, because he loves animals. He knows that animals are sick sometimes and don't get treatment. and he wanted to make sure that that wasn't the case. And so he has a lemonade stand. I just think that's amazing. And so you
Yep.
see things like that, and they're just proactive. It's great.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of that with the generations coming up, as there's more and more people paving that way too.
Right. A lot of tools out there now too, which
That
is
there
awesome.
are. That there
Yeah.
are. So you've got that your whole mission. Can you share your mission?
Yeah. So Aidan Cares is what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Since I was 8, been like the same system. And I think in January, I'll be starting my 10th year, which is kind of crazy. Like,
Wow.
and when getting into it, like I can't stress the lack of planning enough. Like I had no idea what was going on. It was just like a kid and his mom saying yes. But it's just been amazing to see how it's grown. But, I think the mission statement is, imparting the joy and necessity of giving to all. But I remember recently someone's like, so you're the kid that's going to like end world hunger. Someone told me, and I'm like, nah, I'm not. But my goal is to be the kid that inspires others to contribute their piece. Because they kind of look at us like mosaic, it's like it's a broken piece of art, and you have to have each individual piece to make like the big picture. And
Mm-hmm.
I really want my job to be helping others contributing their piece. I think that feels like the most important thing I can be doing with my life. And so the mission is I want to help people find the joy in giving and realize how easy it is, and that it really is just an everyday thing. And it's not like this commitment at all. Like you can make it a commitment, but really it's just living to give. Because that is like life's greatest answer. So, so that's the heart behind it. And, I'll continue to say yes. I'll continue to show up places. And I'm really been about the music life recently. I met Ed Sheeran back in August, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
The
pretty
dude's
cool.
unbelievable. I love that guy. And he just really shared some really deep, powerful things. And I don't know, I love music so much. And I'm hoping that platform will grow so that I can use that, to inspire also. But been working. I just hit like song number 7 as far as like original songs. So once I hit 11, I'll hit a studio and get my first album. Uh,
Nice.
but it's been cool because it's like my heart's changed, but my mission's changed with it. So it's not like I've been like Gumby where I'm pulled different directions. It's like I've just grown with what I love, and that's been great.
Cool. So where do you see it? Where do you see yourself growing? So you're bringing a lot more in with the music.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys just got your 501c3
Which is
today,
so
I hear.
yeah. So
Congratulations.
which honestly is about time. Like that really needed to happen because we were just very much so like, we'll raise money directly for charities, but then like be out of pocket so much to show up and do things. So it really is cool because it like funds me to be able to get like a giving curriculum together and actually be more places, which is awesome. So
Cool. So if people want to get involved and start joining in the work that you're doing with your mission, how would they do that, Aidan?
social media, hit me up on
Sweet.
social media, and it's Aidan Cares, and I'm always posting like what's going on and stuff like that. There's always a need that needs to be filled, and so I try to keep people informed. But social media, and then I love hearing from like individuals. So if you guys, anyone watching this, want to reach out, love to hear stories and try to help you get on the path that you feel like is the right path. But yeah, and as far as the whole growing thing, I'm hopefully like people are like, what are you going to do when you're 18 or when you're done with school? And hopefully this plus like this however this ends up is what I want to be doing.
Seems like your path just keeps expanding. It's like
Absolutely.
the mission is still at the heart of it, and
Right.
it's just expanding and taking on bigger things for you, which is totally cool.
Yeah, it is. It's been so much fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. So what's the biggest advice that you would give somebody that's thinking about that wants to take giving in their life to the next level? Just one simple piece of advice.
I mean, I want to think about a good answer for this. I don't know, just accepting that like a lot of people sign off like and they believe a lie that who they are and what they are isn't enough. But like I said earlier, it really is enough. So I guess the biggest thing is find people that inspire you and learn about it. Keep up with it, watch it every day, and like just learn different things from them so that you can, hopefully use that as fuel to kind of start your own thing. And I'm not saying like mimic other people that you look up to, but I'm saying like use that to get like a clear vision on what like you need to be doing. For me growing up listening and watching Tony Robbins a lot, it was really inspiring because it was almost like someone has a blueprint for what I love. So you just kind of use that to piece it together. So look for people that inspire you, that you really believe in. And never fray from what you love. Like you never want to stop and doing what matters to you. Even if it seems like a really unique thing, it's okay because there really is a place for everyone nowadays. So it's like always pursue what you love. And I think that's the most important thing.
Cool. So choose your mentors wisely, and
Right?
surround yourself with people that inspire you, and then follow models like
Absolutely.
Tony Robbins. If that, he's got a great model and he's all about that. So follow those models and
Right.
keep this at the center of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And,
Cool.
we live in a world too where like a lot of people try to push you in certain directions, and that's, if you can learn from them, that's fine. But, never compromise on what you love though. Like I will refuse to play a certain genre of music, or I just will not, leave what I love, so, never change that.
Never
Yeah.
wonder. Great advice, man. Great
Thank you. I'll
advice.
try. Yeah. And
You
it's
got
like,
it.
and even though I'm young, it's like I have like 2 life lessons to give. So hopefully I got those out there today.
You definitely did. You definitely
Cool.
did. I
Awesome.
have one last question for you, because I know you talked a little bit about, and your mom has been like an integral part of, I call her Mama T.
Yeah. I know
And
she's like a mom to so many people. It's hilarious. I love it.
she's amazing. And what inspires me is that she's really about modeling it. So she really, when we look at connecting with other parents that want to teach their kids more about giving, you've
Right.
got some great advice. In fact, you gave somebody some great advice around that, around raising strong leaders in today's world, in today's generation. What's
Absolutely.
that advice, Aidan? And like, how has your mom influenced that for you?
So like you really do have to model it. Like saying it is one thing, and yet sometimes that works, but something about showing it. And I just remember being little and just seeing like the level. Like I love that my mom loves her grandparents and her grandparents' friends, and like we'll spend a lot of time with the elderly and stuff like that. And I love the way that she loves children, and she just modeled that to me. And so it's almost like I remember growing and having that growing up process, and it's like just felt like the normal. So create like a new normal in your household, to where it just seems like it makes sense. Like you really do have to show it, because kids, yeah, we sometimes do what you tell them to do, but me personally, I don't always do what I'm told, but I do what I'm shown. And so it's really
Oh,
important that we do what we're shown. And so it's almost like more pressure for the parent 100 more ways, because it's like, you have to live it if you're going to tell kids to do it. Because it's just how it is nowadays. But yeah, so just definitely make sure you model it, because I know that I wouldn't be doing what I love without that. So
cool.
yeah. Yep.
Cool. So it's the showing part of it.
Yeah, and you do a great job of that, by the way. Like your kids are really awesome. I hear from them on like Instagram and every now and again.
Ah,
Yeah,
cool.
so that's cool.
Yeah. As Emily is, she loves Ed Sheeran. We listen to the music all the time. So she's like, oh my
Nice.
goodness, Aidan got to meet Ed
I
Sheeran.
know
That's
it.
so
That was so
cool. Did you
crazy.
see
She like
that?
commented about that. So yeah, because apparently you
Yeah.
saw him when he was in Phoenix, right?
She
Didn't
did.
y'all go at
Yeah.
that?
She was at the concert.
Yeah, nice. But
She
yeah,
loved it.
it's good times, man. I love it. And that dude, so I'm like 50% Tony Robbins, 50% like Ed Sheeran. So it's like, it's good.
And 100% you at the core of it,
I
right?
try. Yep. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
You're succeeding in that, Aidan.
Cool. Thank you.
So I'm excited to see your next song, and when you get to your
Thank you.
11, you'll have your album.
Yep.
And congrats on your 501c3. We'll post a link for
Thank
everybody
you.
that's interested in making a contribution.
Please
And
do. That'd be
the,
awesome.
yeah, of course. Those contributions get you into more schools. So what those are doing is getting you to share this impact of giving and generosity with schools out there, and the travel associated, right?
Right, absolutely. Like when I was out in Phoenix, due to certain corporate sponsors, I was actually able to teach at like boys and girls clubs and schools. And if someone has a school, I will go to their kid's school 100%.
Cool.
So yeah, I always write about that, because, I love it, because I really do think it's so important to take it into the heart of kids. And, I'm working on like contribution contracts. And so I'll revisit a lot of schools that I speak at and try to help them like lay it out and actually visualize it. We'll get like a really big old piece of paper and different colored markers, and just kind of write out what they love and how they can use it. And so would love to be a part of it.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. All right, Aidan, you continue to inspire me. You've
Thank
inspired
you.
me since the first time I got to meet you at Keller Williams
Appreciate you.
event. And if there is anything that we can do to help you, we're going to get the 501c3 out there. And Aidan cares for people that want to get involved. Do you have
Yes,
anything
ma'am.
big coming up? I hear today's show was just out recording and you spent
Today's
some
show.
time.
Yes, ma'am. So I guess when this will air, it will have already happened, I think.
Yeah.
So when you post this, so I can talk about it. But yeah, I did the Today Show. So they just did, I think it's going to be, don't know how long it's going to be on TV, but it's going to be awesome. They just taped it. And so that's the biggest thing. then just been doing a lot of like local charity events. I've been at home a bit because I've been working on music, so it's almost like sabbatical, which is pretty cool. But yeah, nothing major on my radar right now. So had a lot of downtime, but I'm kind of over the downtime. So yeah, if people got schools and stuff, so hit me up. Absolutely.
You ready?
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
Thank you, Aidan. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you.
Yep, just inspire you to go out and make a difference. Find your passion. Find, the song in your heart that you want to live and sing and give and love and walk that path of love and contribution to other people. Go out and make it a great day.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Cool, and I appreciate it. And we'll see you when we're out in Arizona. Miss you guys. Cool.
Likewise. All right.
Awesome.
Give your mom a hug.
I will. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Inspiration Nation. Please leave a rating and review for the show on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. And take one small action right now to help someone and spread inspiration across the nation and beyond.